So to summarize, here are some of the features we have implemented in this sprint. The code editor now supports working with multiple code snippets. This is a feature we have worked on for quite some time, and you have also seen in previous sprint demos incremental updates of this feature, but now we think it's good enough to declare non-experimental, so we have included it in the product. We also improved the modeling references command so that now it can support finding reference in external projects as well. And we also moved it together with the code snippet references command from the top level in the context menu to now be placed under navigate submenu where it more naturally belongs. We have continued to improve the search in inheritance hierarchies that you have seen also in previous sprint demo. So now this feature can handle multiple selection. And also we are sorting the search results in a more logical order so that local elements come before inherited elements. And also we have updated the search view and also the search history so that it's possible to see if a search was run in the inheritance hierarchy or not. Then we have worked on updating the target RTist to make it possible to compile it with old compilers that don't support C++11. As you know, previously it was necessary to stick to an old 11.0 version of the target RTist if you for some reason couldn't uplift your compiler to something that supports C++11. But now we have, by means of a conditional compilation, managed to make it possible to compile the target RTist also with a C++ 03 or even 98 compiler. So this, together with the existing language standard dropdown, makes it possible to work with pre-C++11 compiler fully now. However, if you have such an old compiler, there will be some features, some new features that will not work. And now we have made sure that there will be messages reported if you try to use such a feature anyway. So either by the model compiler or at least when compiling generated code. We've also made some usability improvement in all places where we have lists that can be filtered by typing text in a filter box. It is several views and dialogues that have such lists. Now the search in those filtering is fuzzy in the sense that you can abbreviate names and it will be found, much like you could do in the find named element dialog before. We also harmonized the implementation so that they all use boldface for marking what parts of the word that was matching. And also in some cases we added columns that were missing, for example, in the select element dialog. Another usability improvement is when it comes to qualified names. So now these names that appear in tooltips, for example, in the code editor, but also in some symbols, they now respect the selected viewpoint. So if you have the capsule development viewpoint selected, which is usually the recommended viewpoint to use, then the regions which are not shown in the Project Explorer are also filtered out from the tooltips to make them shorter. And especially for nested state machines, this can significantly reduce the length of the tooltips. Then we have implemented a feature that is helpful if you have capsule parts that are typed by abstract capsules, which at runtime will be incarnated by a concrete subcapsule. So now it's possible by using dependencies to specify which capsules that will at runtime be incarnated, and then the editor will use those dependencies when you're navigating into the structure or state diagram from that capsule part. So that's a way for the designer of a model to make it easier for users to navigate to the correct place when doing that from a capsule part. We also made a usability improvement related to cleaning a TC. So now, if there are errors on the TC that come because there was a build problem, like a compilation error, those errors are now removed when you clean, which is can avoid some confusion for users that maybe didn't understand why there were still errors on the TC even after it has been cleaned. So that has now been solved. And then also I'm happy to announce that we have a new version of HCL RTist, which we call 12. So this is based on the latest Eclipse 2023-06. However, it's still in an early phase, so it's an experimental release that you can use for testing, but you shouldn't yet use it for production use. And the real release is expected to arrive later this year. So the deliveries from this sprint is a new version of 11.3 called 2023-35 that you should use with Eclipse 2022-06. And then, like I said, there is a version 12 that is experimental and that you can use with the latest Eclipse. And there are no changes for the older versions. They are still in maintenance mode. And note that some of them will go out of support next year. So you should, if you're still using very old versions, you probably should think about uplifting to something newer. So the experimental versions is still the text-to-state machines from before, and of course the whole version 12 is experimental, but the support for multiple code snippets in the code editor is no longer experimental. And now let's move on to some demos.